First of all, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. So in this one, we're going to call this one The Mother's Guide to Helping Their Kid Get an Athletic Scholarship Opportunity. Or should I say opportunities. We want to get multiple opportunities so your kid can pick the best fit for them. And so I know for sure that, because I went through this with my wife when my daughter was coming up and she was a really good athlete. There's a certain point, early on, moms do a lot of the work, right? You guys are at the games, you're doing the snacks and things, and you're really involved. But as the kid gets older, as they get from junior high to high school, they start relying more on the male coaches, their dads, the men in their lives. As far as advice, moms kind of get pushed to the side a little bit. Now, I know some of you guys were high-level athletes at college. Maybe you played professionally. Some of you guys were actually coach now, and you know the game just as well as anybody. I get it. But I'm just going for the majority on this. Majority of the moms sort of get pushed to the side. They say something, and the kid kind of rolls their eyes like, or you mean well, but sometimes you're pushing them in a way that it doesn't kind of register as a teenager the way it did when they were younger. And you've done all this work and you're not getting the credit for getting them as far as they've come, right? And that's kind of the way it goes. But on the other hand, if they ever go pro, what's the first thing they yell? When they ever get that college scholarship, thank you, Mom. Thanks, Mom. I want to thank my mom. So, and if they're buying houses and cars and things like that, you're always in. So take that big win. And let's look at the smaller, maybe you don't get as much credit. And it's really from that, like I said, from that junior high to high school age. It's just the way it is. The coaches, everybody's like, you're kind of in the way. So let's go over this in a good way for you guys to kind of get involved, in a serious way. And I'm Charles Norman, founder of Sports Solutions LLC, and we created a software called AthleticSOS. And what AthleticSOS does is it takes your kids' academic information, their GPA, their SAT, ACT scores, and the sport that they play, and the level they believe they can play at the collegiate level, and we'll show them all the schools they qualify for. And this makes a big, big difference in their opportunities because they know they already qualified to go to school. So let's go really quickly over some of the things that you have to do. And then I want to tell you what you should be doing, because we always like to do a little bit extra at the end of our videos, because we want to be a little bit different. We're all about the journey leading to your kid having a remarkable life. That using sports, you're leveraging this athletic ability to lead to a remarkable life. And I think athletics gives a tremendous opportunity to do that. So here's the number one reason most kids don't get athletic scholarships. They don't qualify. They academically don't qualify to play at the next level, the collegiate level. Most people think it's about talent and exposure and all of that stuff, but no, most kids wash out because they don't have their grades together. So here's what we're looking to do. We want to make sure that at their high school, they are taking the courses required by the NCAA to play. And what you want to do is tell your counselor, hey, I want to make sure my kid is taking the courses that will allow them to play at the NCAA Division I level. That's the top level in college as far as sports is concerned. And if you can qualify there, then you qualify NCAA Division II, Division III, NAIA, and so that is where you want to be. The second thing, we want to try to get them to think about their grades. And it's hard, again, for you guys to get this across to a kid, especially a teenager. But if they can get a 3.5 GPA and above, it helps them quite a bit, because now the school is looking at them. Yes, they academically qualify. In order to academically qualify, they've taken the right courses. Now let me look at their grades, because if it's 3.5 GPA and above, I can give them some academic money and some athletic money. And I want to insert right here, in 2025, 2026 school years, things will change a little bit. But I'm just giving you the basics right now. If you guys decide to subscribe and follow me, I'm going to show you that change. It just hasn't happened officially yet, so I don't want to bring it up before it's official. So that's two things, right? We took the right courses and we got our GPA up 3.5 and above in those classes, in those courses that I have to take, those core courses. Okay, next one, number 3, they have to take the SAT and the ACT. I suggest you take both. They're slightly different, and one kid usually does better at one than the other. And I know right now the NCAA doesn't require it. Ever since the pandemic and things that happened back there, they stopped making that a requirement to participate as an athlete on the college level. The problem is too many families are taking that to mean that you don't have to take it, period. But the college is still required. Many colleges still require you to have the SAT and ACT. Now, a lot don't. I'm in California. California schools don't, but you don't want to lock yourself into having something, not doing something because it doesn't have to do it. But if it helps you, it sets your kid apart from the kids that didn't do it. Just think about it. You're a college coach. You're a college admissions officer or administrator. If you got a kid that one kid over here took those tests, SAT, ACT, and got pretty good scores, and another kid didn't even bother, which one do you want on your campus? So you always want to give yourself an advantage. That's number one. Give yourself an advantage. Okay, so that's 3 things. Number 4, you have to get exposure. Now, this becomes a big deal for a lot of people for what high school we go to. But there's a lot of sports you can get scholarships for aren't even on the school campus, rowing or sailing or something like that, a rodeo. They're not on most high school campuses. So your kid has to get exposure. The other thing is, when I say exposure, let's say your kid goes to the local high school. There's 2 high schools in your area. And if they go to high school A, that school is pretty good. They get to the playoffs, they get to the regionals, they get to the state finals. If you can go to that school, it probably makes a lot of sense to go there. But if you don't, do you play against that school? Do you play against other schools where your kid could go to school B? Maybe they're not quite as good as the other school in that particular sport, but they're going to play against them. If they can lead their team, that lesser team, I won't say lesser, but the team that doesn't do as well in that sport because all the good kids went over here, then if they can play against them and still lead that team, become a leader, it can help them not only later if they do get an opportunity for an athletic scholarship, but it'll help them in their lives because they've got to pull a group up to believe that we can compete against those people because I'm here with you. Just follow me. And that's a big deal to me. I think that makes a big deal for them for the rest of their life. But I get it if you want to move them to another school. And then if neither one of those work for you, maybe there's a school in another area, maybe there's a charter school or something like that, a private school. There's a whole bunch of options if your kid's a really good athlete. I always like leadership. It makes a big difference to me. And the ability to be what I like to call a spark. And those things change your life. If you can go to that lesser school or even the other school that's in your area, instead of leaving out, taking them away from all their friends, the people they grew up with, they will enjoy going to high school with them. They're big fish on campus, and their spark can help the other kids on the campus because when they walk in the room, it just lights everybody up, especially if they learn to be nice to those other people and kind of take their social proof, I'll call it, and give that to some of the other people. That's a cool thing to be able to do as a kid. Now, so we've got all of those things, right? We took the right courses. We got good grades. We took the ACT, SAT, and now we're trying to get exposure. So travel club programs. One of the things you want to make sure of if your kid's going to be playing on a really good travel club program is that they go regionally, right? You want to be able to let schools across the country be able to see your kid play. Now, they don't need to do it necessarily in the 9th grade, but I think by the 10th or 11th grade, they really need to be playing on a pretty good travel club program. And one of the things you got to be really careful of here is you can't come in at the 10th or 11th grade, go to a really top travel club program, and then find out that there's no seat for them because there's kids that have been with that travel club program from 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade. Your kid doesn't just get to jump the line unless they're just a great kid or just a top-notch player. Yes, they can get there. So some of the things you want to be really, really careful of. Don't overplay the game. Don't get to the point where, hey, you get to this top-notch club and you're not just walking in there as a starter and you're taking over because your kid's really good. There's a lot of good kids playing the game. So find a club program that fits them also, that the way they coach, the way they travel, the number of practices. Don't let your kid get burned out. That's a really big problem for a lot of really good, talented kids. There's a tendency to think that because they're young, they should just keep going and the coach is pushing, and kids can burn out. It happened to my daughter. She ended up burning out from probably the 7th grade. She kind of burned out a little. So she ended up playing with me. We just played locally for her 7th and 8th, her junior high school years. And then when she got to high school, she was back in the groove again. Okay, so we've got all those things down. They've got the exposure. They've got the grades. They've took the right courses. They've got the ACT, SAT. They've done everything they're supposed to do. And even if you do all of that right, there's still no guarantee, right? There's nothing in there that says you're going to get it. And most kids won't anyway. So what's our ace in the hole? That the advantage that we have in our back pocket? It's AthleticSOS. And I know it's my software. It's great software. But if you use it, and if you look down below, I give you a code, and I give you instructions for how to use the code, and it doesn't cost you anything to use the software. If you use our software, what you're going to do is get a handful of schools that you didn't even know existed across the country. There's so many schools, so many opportunities to go and play at the collegiate level that most families don't even know exist. And we will show you that because your kid will put their information in the system and we'll spit out those schools that they qualify for. And so now you've got over here, you've got some schools that are looking at your kid. You're getting letters in the mail. Maybe one of the recruiting coaches from the team is contacting them, and it feels like a good fit. And this happens year after year after year. We've been doing this software. We're going almost on 9 years now. And what ends up happening is sometime in the spring when they're supposed to be making this offer, or in the fall of their senior year or the spring of their senior year before they graduate, all of a sudden the phone calls stop. And you don't know why. But what ended up happening was a couple of different things could have happened. One, the school got a kid that they wanted more than they wanted your kid. Maybe your kid's number 5 on their list. And so they've got 1, 2, 3, or 4, right? So they took that kid. Number 2, your kid did not qualify. They looked at them. Oh, I forgot one. The eligibility centers, NCAA and the NAIA have eligibility centers. You need to get in those. You can sign up for that today. It's Mother's Day. Perfect day for you guys to sign up. Go to the NCAA and the NAIA eligibility centers. You don't need to wait. Your high school athletic director, or if you've got a counselor there, they can do it for you too. They'll have to be notified anyway because they're going to upload your transcripts so that the colleges and the college coaches will know that you're taking the right courses, that you're in line to actually be qualified to be offered an athletic scholarship. They won't offer if you don't qualify. And so that was the other reason they may not come after you. They've been courting you all this time, and all of a sudden it just drops off. You don't know what happened. So those are 2 big reasons that will happen. One, that you don't academically qualify to go to the school, so why keep going? Or number 2, they got the person that they wanted, which was ahead of you. But the problem is they don't tell you what happened. And so you're sitting there kind of heartbroken, your kid's heartbroken because they don't know what they did wrong and they didn't do anything wrong. So we don't want to get into that situation. So that's why it's great to have this other set of schools that you know you qualify for, and you need to reach out to them. And if you get yourself in trouble, now you can work with your high school coach or your travel club coach to say, hey, I've got this list of schools I qualify for. I know this school was already looking at me. I think I can go play at these schools. Can you reach out for me? And we give you contact information for those schools, and we kind of give you a way that we would go about it to make that contact. And then you got to get out there and perform. That's the one piece that I can't do anything about, but you're going to have to do it yourself. And I kind of went through those quickly, but it is a video. You can always go back and watch it again. And so if you do those things, you're giving yourself an advantage over all of the millions of kids. There's 8 million kids playing high school sports every single year. Now, most of them, maybe 5% can play at the next level, but still there's only so many slots. Remember, even for a 4-year college, and we do have junior colleges and community colleges in our software, but even for a 4-year college, usually they only have room for 1 year. Only one group graduated, right? Maybe 3 or 4 kids on the team, maybe 10, 15 if it's football or something like that, graduated. So they only have so many spaces on their team to recruit for. So you got to make sure that you understand the numbers. You got to know what you're working against. All right, so we got that through. Your mom, you can go in there and say, hey, I saw this cool software. Just tell me what you think about it. Let's go ahead and sign up for it anyway. It doesn't cost us anything. And now you can be part of this overall thing, especially if you end up getting this set of schools, end up being a better school, because one of the things you're trying to do is, what school is the best fit for my kid? Right now, almost everybody goes to the schools that came and recruited them. But what if you saw a school that was better for you and you recruit that school? You let them know you're interested in them and see if that works out. That could be a great way of doing this. But I want to go a step further than this. So one of the things that we try to do here, I talked about a little bit at the beginning, we're trying to leverage their athletic ability to lead a remarkable life. And part of leading a remarkable life is that journey coming in to play sports from 5 years old, let's say, to 17. That journey, it could either be a grind or it could be a great opportunity for you. Do you know who your kid is? What do they like to do? What are they all about? You guys are traveling around, you're going to all these things. Even as a young kid, you're going to all these different places to play, and you got to get up and you got to get snacks and you got to get everybody in the car, and you guys get there and you got to go to practices after work, or if you're not working, it just takes a lot of your time up. So we want to use some of that time to let them go and do things that interest them, or find some other things that interest them. That is a real great way of doing it. So if your kid's really young, which sport actually fits your kid? I know everybody plays soccer and baseball and basketball and softball. Maybe you get into a little bit of volleyball. Those are the local sports that every kid starts off with. But there's other sports that you can play. And so We want to find out which sport actually fits your kid and who they are. The next thing is, if you guys are going out and doing all this stuff, what else can we be doing out here as a family? We're going out way over here to this area or this area of the town or this area of the state or whatever you guys are doing. Find some other cool things you guys can do while you're on your way. This is great stuff for moms, and I'm not being sexist. I'm just saying, if you can figure out, hey, our family, our unit, what can we be doing? And the kids, sometimes they throw an extra couple of kids in the cars with you. Maybe you can be an influence on that kid too. And so let's get that going. So maybe we're going to go eat over here at this hotel by the ocean. I know your kids want to go back home and they don't want to spend too much time with you when they become teenagers, but you can force the issue and say, hey, let's go over here and do this while we're out this way. Or maybe we're going to go to this place, some place that they wouldn't normally be, but it doesn't have to be expensive. It can almost be, maybe we're just going to go to the park. We're going to buy something, go to the park and eat. Or I packed us, a picnic or something. You guys can keep playing out here while we sit down and eat, and just make it enjoyable to be a part of this whole situation. And then the other thing I want you to be able to do is, if you can, is to make sure you get your kid in around a network of people. I call them assets. People don't like when I call human beings assets, but I want them to start collecting people in their lives that they could be in their lives for forever, that are just good people. And if your kid's a good kid, hopefully that's part of what you're doing. And then they can meet other people that are good kids. This can make a huge deal. Our world is separating the haves and the have-nots. You guys see it happening, and I'm watching it happen. I've been talking about this for years, that it was coming. So there's a separation coming, and the difference in the separation is going to be your network. Your kid's network is going to make all the difference in their lives. They can be great athletes. They can be great students. They can do all the cool things. They can volunteer. They can do a lot of cool things, and they may be okay. But if you want to give them the best chance for success in life, it is their network of people around them that's going to make the difference in their life. It's going to change what they do. And they're going to change from 5 years old to 9 is one level, from 9 to 12, that junior high school sort of area, that 10 to 12 area, and then 13 and up, their personalities are going to change. They're going to grow into who they're going to become. Now, part of that is on you, but part of it is on the people that they're around, right? Their peers. And so if you can get them in an environment where they're around some really great people, it's going to change everything for you. It's going to make growing up a lot easier. And then the way that they move in the world is going to be a lot easier as they get older. And if they do get the opportunity to play at the collegiate level, you need to encourage them to do the same thing. When they hit high school, make sure that they're bringing in some of their friends that they met when they were younger. Make sure that they mesh with them. Even though a lot of those friends aren't going to continue playing, they still should be in their world. And if those friends, if they're good people, they're going to be involved in stuff. Let your kid be involved with them in the stuff that they're doing. Maybe they'll find something new and interesting that they may like to do later on. This is how this world should be working, that we should be working and build up that network, that group of assets around us, and keep moving on that. And so I don't want to overdo it. I'm going to do this long term. Now, everything I just told you is going to be changing a little bit. It's going to change 25, 26. It's a lawsuit. It's House versus the NCAA. You guys can look it up. They've kind of 90% of it is done. We're still waiting for 10%. If that judge okays that settlement, then the whole world just changed in college sports. And I will be talking about that. I've already put some stuff together. I just haven't thrown it out because I want it to be official that this has been settled. Because if the judge doesn't approve the settlement, then it's going to go to a court trial, and that could be another year. I don't think the colleges are going to let that happen. In fact, the changes are already happening. If your kid's a senior this year, that the 24-25 year, you already know they're not taking new kids in necessarily right now and giving them scholarships because they're waiting to see what happens. And if your kid is at the collegiate level, you already know they've cut some spots on some of the schools because part of the settlement is they're going to reduce the roster. So all of this stuff is coming up, but I don't want to get too far into it until it's there. And then we'll talk about it big time. And I've got some cool stuff for you guys to be able to navigate it as you move forward. All right, that's it. I got my wife and then my daughter. I have a grandchild now, so I got 2 moms, so this is going to be an expensive day for me. So I'm going to go out and start getting ready for it. Best of luck to you guys in everything you do. Again, look down below. I give you a code. I give you instructions for using the code. Use AthleticSOS. It's a great tool. We designed it, and we're going to put some other cool stuff on it as things move forward in this world. And then remember, all we want to do is we want to leverage your kids' athletic ability, and we want to let that lead to a remarkable life, whether they play at the collegiate level or not, whether they make high school varsity or not. That whole journey should be pretty cool for them. All right, guys. As always, best of luck to you in all your endeavors, and we'll see you next week. And we'll continue on our thing. I'm doing 52 usually not mention things about getting athletic scholarships that give you an advantage over everybody else just for listening to me babble here in this park once a week. All right, talk to you later. Bye.